I'm Coach Miller, and welcome to All Marine Fighter, our aftermath edition of the Emanuel Navarrete versus Robson Conceicao fight. Wow, what a fight. All the way to the end, and it was definitely surprising. It ended in a draw. I just did not see that happening. It was a firefight from beginning to end. Now, Conceicao was a former Olympian, actually three-time Olympian, gold medalist, had a lot of high hopes for him, but he lost against some good fighters, so he was still in the mix to try to be able to challenge Navarrete. This would be his third attempt to go for a title, but man, boy, did he go all out against Navarrete. Navarrete's defending his title, but let me tell you what, I got a lot of things to say about him too. The fight started out real quick, and I gotta tell you what, Conceicao really put it to Navarrete. Navarrete, he has a very interesting style. He throws a lot of punches and he hits hard, but he has a very interesting style where he's constantly on his feet. He moves, hits from different angles. He has really, really good head movement, and he catches people and just plants them on their rear end. So a lot of folks were picking Navarrete to knock out Conceicao, but Conceicao was actually outpointing and outlanding Navarrete. I mean, round one, round two, arguably round three. Round three, Navarrete really brought it on, but I don't think it was really good enough to be able to take the round. Round four is where the first knockdown happens, and Navarrete just nailed Conceicao, put him down. And he was wobbly even after that. And even still, Conceicao brought it to him. Just absolutely took it to him. I mean, my goodness. It wasn't one of those where he gets knocked down and all of a sudden he plays conservative and just backs off and fights off his back foot. No! He took it to Navarrete. And yet they were both going back and forth. I was thinking to myself, oh man, this is going to be a real short fight. But sure enough, Navarrete couldn't close the deal in the fourth round. Now, arguably, Conceicao was winning the fight early until that knockdown, but then it kind of became even at that point. Round five was even more of a firefight, back and forth. Now, what I do find very interesting about Navarrete is he has very good balance. He did get caught a couple times coming in off balance, but that can happen to any fighter. Overall, his balance, back and forth, throwing shots at different angles, extremely effective, and it was definitely catching Conceicao. It comes to round seven, and Conceicao goes down again due to a body shot. Now, this was a little interesting. It almost seemed like, yeah, he was hurt, but I don't know, maybe he was kind of forced down in a way, so he went down a little too easily. Because body shots, you know, if they really, really hurt you, there's a lot more pain that goes on and that type of thing. But Conceicao got up pretty quickly. Even though it was shown that it was kind of affected, I think it was a little bit more to it. But it was counted as a body shot knockdown. But either way, Navarrete still couldn't close the deal because Conceicao came right back, throwing punches back and forth. I was like, oh my goodness, what a fight. This is by round seven. Navarrete started to slow down and not throw as many punches, so Conceicao actually turned up the heat throwing punches, and it was actually catching him because Navarrete did have his hands down. I don't really like that. If you watch any of my videos, you know I have a thing about young fighters keeping their hands down, but I think it's a lot of... I won't necessarily criticize Navarrete on this because he does have a very interesting style because the way he moves, he throws the punches from awkward angles, and so I can admire that a bit compared to just to, you know, the common young fighter just having his front hands down, just being lazy, in my opinion. But that being said, Conceicao was coming back, winning rounds, even though he got knocked down twice. By round 11, you could arguably say definitely that round 11 was Navarrete's because, I mean, at the end of the round, Conceicao was just wobbly, barely standing on his feet. I seriously thought, because when the bell rang, he was barely standing on his feet. Barely. I mean, he had a hard time getting back to his corner. I almost thought the ref was going to stop it, but, you know, I can commend the ref to allow him to fight, to go out on his shield if needs to be. But then again, it's one of those things where you kind of, worry about the fighter too. You want to make sure that he's okay to live to fight another day, right? But in this case, hey, it actually worked out. Round number 12, firefight. Back and forth, Navarrete, Conceicao, back and forth, boom, boom, boom. And I'm just thinking to myself, oh man, this is actually a lot closer than we might think it is. When it came down to the decision, I was sitting there thinking, before the decision was announced, I was like, okay, 2 knockdowns, they're going to give this to Navarrete despite the performance of Conceicao, because, hey, that's 2 knockdowns, and it's not like Navarrete didn't throw a lot of punches. He did throw a lot of punches. So it should be a decent win, point-wise, for Navarrete. They announced it a majority draw. I'm like, okay, I didn't see that coming. Conceicao has this big smile on his face. Navarrete's like, yeah, okay, I can see it, which is kind of funny, by the way. So I'm thinking that there's definitely going to be a rematch. I think that will be a great fight, and I like both fighters. Conceicao is kind of like on his way out of professional boxing. I think this is probably going to be one of the last fights, especially if he loses this next fight, if they rematch if they do rematch. But Navarrete, I like watching him fight. He is a very entertaining fighter, and I do like to see what's going to happen with him in his career. He's got a long way ahead of him. Ultimately, I guess we'll see what happens next. If you like these videos, go ahead and click that subscribe button. And of course, hit the like button because it sure helps us out. Until next time, stay motivated.